Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sharing Impact. I'm Cassandra Hilos, your host. And today we're going to talk about the Big Bang Theory. So, when I say Big Bang, I'm sure in your mind we're thinking about a comedy show that ended in 2019, the Big Bang Theory. That's the name of the show. The show that follows the life, if you haven't seen it, of like four scientists, astrophysics, and an engineer. And the name became popular back then, but the name The Big Bang is actually not about the show, the original name, but it comes from this theory the astrophysics have, the astronomers have, that explains how the universe began, and that's the Big Bang. So, this idea is that the universe began as just a single point. So, what they are saying is that something happened and the universe began to exist. And then expanded and stretched to grow to what is today, and it's still stretching, it still became bigger and bigger by actually the minute. So the Big Bang is an idea that goes back like for a very long time. So this Big Bang happened, they believe, about 13.8 billion years ago. So that is a very long time. And the name, the Big Bang, is actually accepted by many scientists, although some don't like it because the Big Bang says that actually bang happened, but what is a better term maybe for some scientists is the term everywhere stretch, maybe by NASA. That's a new term they're using. Although the Big Bang is just really popular now with the series and all. So this idea, the Big Bang, started like 1927 by an astrophysics called astronomer, but word for it, called George Lemaître, which has this idea of the universe started in a single point and then stretch and expand. And of course, other astronomers also noticed that later, that somebody called Edwin Hubble, he noticed that other galaxies were moving away from us. So that's expansion in a way. It exists. So he understand that further galaxies were moving faster than the ones close to us, and that meant the universe still expanding. So, what is actually happened at the beginning? What is this Big Bang? So, what astronomers believe is the universe began when it was just hot, tiny particles mixed with light and energy. That's the starting point. It was nothing like you see around it, with the planets and galaxies around. And then it expanded and became bigger and bigger and took more space, and that why it cooled down afterwards. So the tiny particles group together, they form atoms, and then these atoms group together and make the stars and the galaxies we see around us. The first stars created bigger atoms and groups of atoms, and then they die, and then they created new stars. At the same time, galaxies were crashing and grouping together. So you have this mirror cycle, like something is being born and something dies. And that's why we have asteroids and comets and planets and black holes formed because of that constant, change into cosmos. So the Big Bang is really an explanation how the universe began. It goes against maybe many religions, I guess. Christianity for sure. We believe that God created the world. Although some leaders actually say maybe they happened both, you know. And we explain in simple terms in religions, and science gives you more details of what actually happened. Of course, nobody was living in 13.8 billion years, so nobody can say for sure what actually happened. The theory is explained with mathematical formulas and models and science that most of us, I don't think we understand. It's really physics in its more difficult form, I guess, if you're an astrophysics or astronomer. It's just very difficult to understand. If you see the series, you see these boards they have with mathematical formulas, and actually these formulas are true. They're not like, junk science. They had this scientist that he was a consultant, and he wrote all these, formulas and models that actually exist in astrophysics. And what is actually at the end is that maybe the theory is true, and scientists still try to explain everything. We have the blackboard, the first photo not so long ago, so maybe somewhere along the way we will understand more of it, and maybe someday we will understand what it actually was, the world before us, when it just started, how was it in more detail, and maybe we see, I don't know, pictures of what it was, or maybe some sketch of what. So that is actually the Big Bang theory in science, and not just a TV series, which is, yes, is very funny. Although I'm not sure I understand why scientists are projected like, nerds. I don't see yellow sign in my life, being actual truth. Yeah, it's a comedy, but still, it's not really flattering about the scientists. The show is not really flattering idea of how we are. But, Hollywood needed to make it funny. So, science and nerds are good for